tornadoes. We have just whole neighborhoods trashed, and people don't have utilities and food. The grid goes down because we're being attacked by terrorists and so forth. I mean, it's like crazy. And so we had wildfires in California, earthquakes in Indiana and Missouri. I mean, what is going on here, okay? So once you get a hold of your Youngevity associate and ask for the book Prepare, the subtitle is The Prepper's Survival Bible, Prepare, the Prepper's Survival Bible, and it covers everything from how to fend off a mugger, how to fend off a home invader, how to deal with the grid going down, how to deal with natural disasters, and how to deal with every kind of epidemic and things like that you can think of. Again, it's the book Prepare, the Prepper's Survival Bible. Okay, Doug, let's go to callers.
Let's head to New York, and Emmy, you're on with Dr. Wallach.
Well, Emmy, you're on the air.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Thank you.
Okay. I just have two simple questions today. I'm trying to understand a little bit better about gluten and oil, because I know you've been talking about how bad gluten is, and I just want to make sure for a normal person, like a healthy person, is that okay to still eating something that has gluten in it, or is it definitely you want to avoid it? Because, I mean, did the body produce something to digest the gluten or not? That's my first questions.
Okay, well, first, the answer, wait a minute, one question at a time. The answer to the first question will be a little sort of tortuous here, so I'm going to answer some of it, and then I'm going to give some of it the short answer. And at this point, there are people who claim that they have enzymes that will break down gluten, which is a protein. It will. Gluten can be broken down into the amino acids by enzymes, but there's that caveat is nothing's 100%. So a percentage is going to slip through. When you're talking about biological systems, percentages will slip through. So if a person is sensitive to gluten, which like 85 to 90% of Americans are, or if you're dating somebody or you're married to somebody who has a gluten intolerance, you still don't want to be eating gluten because of cross-contamination in the laundry, the food preparation surface, the couches where people sit and watch TV, the beds they sleep in together, and so on, mother-in-law. I mean, it can't be nobody in the house eating gluten if there's somebody in the house who is gluten intolerant. And let's see here, Shar, what's the best way to learn where you're going to find gluten that you don't know about?
Listen to the CD Serial Killers.
Okay, very good. Serial Killers. That CD will teach you all the hidden places that you run into gluten. And, you know, they're talking about they use gluten to thicken chicken rice soup or chicken vegetable soup. You don't think you're going to have rice, wheat in there, but they use it as a thickener. Same way with gravy, soups, things like meatloaf, meatballs, dog food, cat food, kind of that kind of stuff. And so you just have to watch it. It's in everything. You have to read labels. When it says gluten-free, naturally gluten-free, then you roll it over in the back, you look at the allergy stuff, and it says these nuts are packaged which are gluten-free or packaged on equipment that also packages wheat products. And so the dust in the bag is wheat dust, even though the nuts started out gluten-free, but now they've been contaminated because of the machinery they were packaged on. So you got to be aware of all that kind of stuff. And gluten intolerance will cause a damage to the lining of the intestines, okay, which reduces the efficiency of absorption. Shar, you've seen people with really severe gluten problems. How many diseases did they have?
There was a lady in Canada that had 22 diagnosed diseases.
Yeah, she was seeing 17 specialists on 27 prescription drugs because she couldn't absorb every one of those 22 diseases was a nutritional deficiency disease because she couldn't absorb nutrients because of her gluten intolerance. And so this is a very life-threatening thing. And so it's not something simple like, oh, I just get a little rash on my little finger. That's not quite what you're looking at here. Okay, second question.
Yeah, thank you so much for answering that question, Dr. Wallach. And the second one is that you talked about oil and how bad it is, and I totally understand and agree with you that fried food is really bad. But I read a lot of books about how good the coconut oil is when you eat it fresh. So is that a problem with eating that without frying that with the coconut oil, or it's still bad?
Yeah, the only way coconut oil would be safe would be for you to pick the coconut off the tree, mash the coconut, get the oil yourself, and use it immediately. If it's sitting there for 10 minutes, it's already oxidized. Okay.
Okay.
It's very, very, very fragile. And look at these island people who live a lot on coconut. They eat a lot of coconut as part of their traditional diets. Mm-hmm. Obesity is a big thing with them. They tend to be a couple 100 pounds overweight. They die at a very early age of heart disease, diabetes, all this kind of stuff, cardiovascular disease because of the clogged arteries as a result of inflammation from using coconut oil and everything. And so it's not safe. Just because somebody says, hey, it really tastes great and it's good for cooking, well, you know, it may be good for the mechanics of cooking and the food looks good and tastes good, but it will kill you, okay? And we're talking about microwave popcorn. We're talking about theater popcorn, olive oil, coconut oil, margarines, mayonnaise, salad dressing, cooking oils. All of these things are extremely dangerous, extremely dangerous. I cannot emphasize that enough, I guess is the word I'm looking. I can't emphasize that enough. And when you look at clogged arteries, it has nothing to do with cholesterol. It has to do with trans fatty acids, heterocyclic amines, and acrylamides, which come from oxidized oils. So even, you know, you go to a restaurant and they have a bottle of coconut oil or extra virgin olive oil on the table with some vinegar so you can make your own salad dressing. The white vinegar is made from wheat, and then the oil is oxidized because it's in a clear glass and the light is oxidizing it at room temperature. It's been out there all day from 9 o'clock or 7 o'clock in the morning. You come in at dinner time and use some of that olive oil that's been sitting on the table there all day, and it gets put in the back of the room probably for a month, and they just keep topping it off as it gets used. It is nothing but oxidized oil, okay? And so these things are extremely dangerous, and I just, you know, hope that you appreciate. Now, I really thank you for asking these questions. And again, Shar said I would get a hold of that CD, Serial Killers, to find out where you find all the hidden gluten. But get a hold of the book, Epigenetics, The Death of the Genetic Theory of Disease Transmission, and get a hold of the book, Hell's Kitchen, and you will just be amazed at the information we have on what oxidation does. I wrote my first paper on that subject in 1971. Okay? Clogged arteries have nothing to do with cholesterol. It has to do with eating oxidized oils and fried foods and that sort of stuff. So there's nothing good about it. Okay? You know, somebody out there just decided, hey, I'm a chef. It smells good. It tastes good. Makes the finished food looks good. Gives a good presentation. And, of course, find me one of these chefs who lives to be 100. You know, they all die. In fact, one of the top organic food chefs in Canada, who is the personal chef of the Queen of England, a couple of years ago, he died at 54 of a heart attack because he cooked in all these oils. And so just because they say it, whoever they are, just because it tastes good, just because it smells good, just because it looks good, doesn't mean it's good. But good question. Okay, let's see. How much time we got here, Doug?
About 30 seconds.
About 30 seconds. I'm going to go ahead and take it and remind everybody to get a hold of that book, Epigenetics, The Death of the Genetic Theory of Disease Transmission. Get a hold of the DVD, Somebody Needs to Go to Jail, and the CD, Public Enemy Number 1. And those are pretty much my most recent bits of information from my presentations. And, of course, the book Dead Doctors Don't Lie is finally in Spanish. You can get the Spanish version of Dead Doctors Don't Lie. Contact your Youngevity associate. Get the Spanish version of the book Dead Doctors Don't Lie. We've had the CD forever in Dead Doctors Don't Lie in Spanish.